Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Power Yoga. My name is Nikki, and today we are going to work on side crow pose. So it's okay if arm balances, you don't really have them down, or you're a little scared of them, or if maybe you've just started exploring them, and crow pose is kind of the gateway. Arm balance pose. So it's okay if that's where you're at today. I'm just going to give you some information on side crow. It is a more intermediate pose because there's a twist added to it. Show you some options and go over a few things and different areas to build up to get that strength for side crow. Next week we'll be exploring fallen angel, and again, even if you are not there, even if that's not in your daily practice or even something you've thought about doing, please feel free to join class to give it a try, or just kind of watch and see how I get set up for it, and something to look forward to in the future. As you build up, arm balances take a lot of work, a lot of practice and time. So please be gentle with yourself, give yourself that grace. It's not something you can just hop into usually. So, you see people out there doing them, but it takes a long time to get to where you can get into that pose, you can hold it, and you have the strength. And sometimes it just doesn't work either. Some days are just not meant to be an arm balance day. So we're going to get started today in our child's pose, and we're going to do poses today. We're going to do in our flow some poses today that are going to get our body ready to go into side crow. And that's actually going to include a lot of twists. So because we are twisting, it can be a little intense. So again, be careful and listen to your body and do what you can do today. So we're going to start big toes together. Knees are in close, so you can take them wide. Hips sit back. Fingers reach forward. Your forehead can come to the ground, or you can bend your elbows, put one hand on top of the other, and let your forehead rest there, or anything that feels good. And just take some nice deep breaths. Start to bring your mind to your body, to your breath. Start to let go of everything. And flying into balances can be a little scary. So it's okay to have that little bit of fear. It's okay if you aren't sure if you're going to try it. And it's okay if this is a regular thing for you and you're just excited to pop into side crow. Take one more round of breath here. And then come on up into your tabletop. You're going to bring your wrists under your shoulders, knees under your hips. As you inhale, let your belly drop, head and hips rise. Exhale, press down into the earth, arching your back up to the sky. So take your time here with cat-cow, starting to move with your breath. Really think about, so with arm balances especially, sometimes our weight dips into the heel of our hand, into our wrist. And then people have wrist problems a lot of times because you have all your weight, you have all that pressure on your wrist. So we're going to focus in class today, not just on twists and other things, but one thing we're going to focus on, and I'm going to cue a lot, is putting your weight into your fingertips. So your weight will go into your fingertips and you're almost going to grip them down onto the ground. Bend the knuckles a little bit to take the weight out of the wrist, out of the heel of your hand, to take pressure off of that wrist. And this actually is a pose that strengthens your wrists, strengthens your arms, your wrists, opens up the upper back, strengthens the spine and stretches the spine and the mid back. So it does a lot of good. We just have to make sure we're set up properly for it. On your next inhale, find your way back into that tabletop position. Shift your weight into your left hand and your right leg and reach your right arm and left leg out. And then exhale back into tabletop. And we're going to do that a few times. You want your arm and leg to reach straight out and bring it back in. Nice long spine. And in. And we're going to do that a couple more times. And then we're going to add a knee to elbow because this also takes a lot of core strength. So we got to build up and work on the core. I know you guys love core exercises. Let's do one more here. Good, then we're going to add that knee to elbow. So right arm, left leg, reach. Exhale, knee to elbow. Really curl your back into that cat pose. Lengthen it out and come back into tabletop and switch sides. Inhale to reach. Exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale to reach and back to tabletop. And as you're doing that, really think about pressing down into the earth with the hand and the leg that are on the ground. Really have that contraction of your back starting with the core and then lengthen it out. So we're focusing more on the core working. We're pressing down into the earth, pressing into the fingertips. And you're going to take one more each side. And then you're going to come back into that nice tabletop position. And from here, you're just going to find your way into down dog. So you can either walk your hands forward, or if they're comfortable here, spread the fingers, press into your knuckles and your fingertips, tuck your toes, hips come up and back. Take a few breaths here, pedal it out, move the hips side to side, anything that feels good in your down dog. Just take a few breaths. Take about 2 more breaths. And as we're doing it, I have some little notes here. So side crow is called Parsvabhakasana. There's no real story behind it. It's just a side crow. It's a variation, intermediate variation of crow pose. It is very intense. It can be intense. And let's find some stillness to your dog. Root down into the fingertips. Press your chest towards your thighs, shoulder blades slide up your back. Glance to the top of your mat and step your feet forward, about hip distance, maybe a little wider, and just pause here for a couple breaths, letting your head hang heavy. Maybe sway side to side. Maybe shift your weight from your heels to the balls of your feet. Nice deep breaths. And gently roll it up. Bring your feet under your heels, take a breath in. Hands to heart, and we're going to add some more twists here. Inhale to reach it up. Exhale, twist it to the right. So you can bend your elbows or take your arms long and come up back to center. And then to the left. And back to center. We're going to do a couple more of those. And as you're twisting, we want the twist to come right here from the waist, from that mid back. And the hips stay nice and square. So think of hips here, and that twist is coming from here. So you may not twist as much. A lot of times when we're class and we're twisting, our hips come a little bit with us. So really focus on twisting from the core, and the hips stay nice and steady. And that's going to have a nice steady base for you as well to help you with your balance. Good. Come on back to center, hands down to your heart. Inhale to reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Root down through your feet. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, hands to heart. We're just going to do that one more time. Inhale to reach. And fold. Inhale to rise up. Exhale, hands to heart. Good. Inhale to reach. Exhale to fold forward. Halfway lift, lengthen through the crown of the head, and we're going to pause here and add a twist. So if you need a block underneath your right hand, you can just set your hand on that block. And then you're going to take your left hand to your hip or to the sky. And again, you want to keep the hip bones square. So that twist, it's not a big move, but it's coming from right here at your waist. And then you're going to let the left hand come down to the ground or a block, and right fingers reach up. We're just going to take a couple breaths here. And one more. And then you can set that block to the side, fold it forward, and rise up, hands to heart. Inhale to reach. Exhale to fold. Halfway lift. Take that twist, reaching the right fingers up. And come on back down. And left fingers. Come on back down. And then step your right foot back. Plant your right hand, left fingers reach up for a twist. Pause here. So you can be here, you can lower your knee. You can take that left hand and wrap it around your back, or take it to your lower back, whatever feels comfortable here. One more round of breath. Reach your fingers back up to the sky. Plant your left hand, step back to your down dog. Shift forward into plank, toes or knees, weights in your fingertips. Hug the elbows in and lower down. Shoulders shrug back, lift your heart, and press back to down dog. Right foot steps forward into a lunge. We're going to take that twist again, plant the left hand, right fingers reach up, maybe it comes to your hip or around your lower back. Inhale, reach back up to the sky. Exhale, plant your hand, and left foot steps up to meet right. Rise up, hands to heart. Inhale to reach. Exhale to fold. And halfway lift. Let's start left hand first. Fingers to the sky. And then fold forward. Halfway lift, right fingers to the sky. And fold forward. Left foot steps back. Plant your left hand. Right hand comes to your hip or the sky or wraps around your back for a couple breaths. I do suggest having a block or something steady like books. For the end of class, you don't have to grab it now, but when we're working on that side crow, I like to prop up my heels as I'm getting into that crow to work on getting into that side crow. Just thought I'd throw that out there. Let that hand come up, frame your foot, step back to down dog. Shift forward into your plank. Weight in your fingertips as you hug your elbows, lower to your belly. Shrug your shoulders back, lift your heart for cobra. We'll move to up dog in just a little bit and press back to down dog. And left foot steps forward to lunge. Plant the right hand. Left fingers reach for a twist. Let that hand come down and right foot steps up to meet left. Inhale to rise. Exhale, hands to heart, take a nice chair pose here. So weight comes towards your heels and hips sit back. In chair pose, we're gonna hold this for a couple breaths. You want your spine to be long and hands press into each other at your heart, shoulder blades slide down your back. All your weight, we always say shift your weight to your heels, but you're not gonna have all of your weight in your heels. You still want some weight in the balls of your feet so you don't fall back. Just wanna be able to lift your toes and give them a wiggle. And here, really engage these lower abs. It's easy for your tailbone to tuck back. So pull in those lower abs to lengthen through the whole spine. And then on your inhale, rise back up. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift. Take out the twist for the half lift and fold. Right foot steps back. Plant your right hand, left fingers reach to the sky. Let that hand come down, step back to down dog. We're gonna add a twist here. So you're gonna take your right hand, reach it back towards your left leg. You can reach for your thigh, your shin, maybe the outside of your ankle, maybe you peek under your armpit. We're gonna take one full breath there. Find your way back into down dog. Shift forward into plank. Hug the elbows in, weight in your fingertips. Come all the way down or go for that chaturanga. Coming halfway down, hugging the elbows in. Inhale to lift your heart and press back to down dog. Right foot steps forward into a lunge. Left foot steps up to meet it. Inhale to rise up. Exhale, hands to heart, take that chair pose. Inhale to reach up and fold. Halfway lift, no twist, and fold. Left foot steps back, plant your left hand, right fingers reach up for a twist. Let that hand come down to frame your foot, step back to down dog. Shift your weight into the left hand and right hand reaches back for your left leg. Take a twist here. And then come back into that down dog. Shift forward into plank, toes or knees. Hug the elbows in, lower halfway so elbows are even with your rib cage. And then lift your heart. Press back to down dog. Left foot steps forward to a lunge. Right foot steps up to meet it. Root down through the feet to rise up. Exhale, chair pose. Inhale to reach. Exhale to fold. Halfway lift. And lower. We're going to mix it up here. Right foot steps back to lunge. Still taking that twist. Let your hand come down and then rise up into a nice lunge. Take your hands to your heart and we're going to come into a prayer twist. So you can lower your back knee here if you need to. Hands stay at your heart. You're going to turn from the waist to the left side. And then you're just going to start to lean down to the right. So elbow can come inside or outside of your thigh. Take a pause here. This can be an intense twist. So if your hands are moving up towards your shoulder, you want to lessen your twist, keeping the hands and shoulders square. If your left knee is falling inward, lessen your twist so you keep your knee and your hip and your ankle in line with each other to have a nice steady base. On your next inhale, rise back up. And fold forward, plant your hands, step back to down dog. Shift forward into your plank, weight to your fingertips. Hug your elbows in. You can lower to your belly or come to that chaturanga. Inhale to lift your heart. Exhale to down dog. Right foot steps forward into a lunge. Left foot steps up to meet it. Inhale to rise up. Exhale, come to that chair. And reach up. And fold. Halfway lift. And lower. Left foot steps back to lunge. Take that twist. Let your hand come down. Rise up into your lunge. Hands to your heart. We're going to take that twist to the right side. So twist from the waist. And then lean to the left. Elbow inside or outside of your thigh. And again, make sure your hands stay at your heart. If they're moving up towards the right shoulder, lessen your twist. Take a peek down. If your knee is falling into the left, lessen your twist here. One more breath. And then come back. Rise up. Fold forward, plant your hands, step back to down dog. Shift forward into plank. Hug the elbows in, lower down. Inhale to lift your heart. Exhale to down dog. And left foot steps forward. Right foot steps up to meet it. Inhale to rise. Exhale, take it to chair. And reach up. And fold. Halfway lift. And lower. Right foot steps back to lunge. Plant your hand. Left fingers reach up to twist. Let that hand come down. Rise up into your lunge. You're going to turn in the right heel. Open up into your warrior two. Lengthen the left leg. You're going to reach forward with your left hand. Push back on your left hip. Come into triangle pose. So you can have your fingertips to your shin. You can grab that block right here. Whatever feels good, but you want to keep your spine long. Keep your side body long. If you're here, you're throwing off your foundation. So long line, and again, that block is a great option here. It's gonna help, blocks are our friends. They help us get to where we need to be. They give us support, and they help us to build a strong foundation. From here, you're going to rise up, sweep the left fingers up and back to dance that triangle, and then cartwheel your hands down to frame your foot, step back to down dog, shift forward into plank, hug the elbows and lower down halfway, hugging the elbows in, inhale to lift your heart and exhale to down dog. Right foot steps forward into a lunge. Turn in the left heel, open up warrior two. Inhale to lengthen the right leg, reach forward, come into that triangle pose. And this time we're gonna revolve our triangle. So again, grab a block if you need it. We're gonna add a twist to our triangle. So you're gonna take the left hand, bring it to the block or the ground, push back a little bit on the right hip, and right fingers come to your hip or to the sky. So this can be intense. If it is too intense, come back into your triangle pose. That's okay. Keep the heart open. Take a nice deep breath. And then let that right hand come down. Left fingers reach back up. Rise up into triangle. Sweep the right fingers up and back to lengthen out the right side of the body. Cartwheel your hands down to frame the right foot. Left foot steps up to meet it and rise up. Hands to heart. Inhale, and to chair pose. Almost forgot that chair pose, guys. And reach up and fold. Left foot steps back to lunge. Plant your hand. Right fingers reach up to twist. And let that hand come down. And, excuse me, rise up into your lunge. Turn in the left heel. Warrior two, lengthen the right leg, reach forward and push back on that hip. Triangle pose, and we're just gonna pause in this triangle pose again, long line. If you wanna mix it up a little bit, you can take your left arm towards your ear, lengthening out the left side of the body a little bit more. You can take your hand to your hip or wrap it around your back, opening up your shoulder a little bit more. One more inhale to lengthen everything out. Sweep the right fingers forward, up and back to dance. And then cartwheel your hands down to frame your right foot. Step back to down dog. Shift forward into plank, weight to your fingertips. Hug the elbows in, lower down halfway. Inhale to lift your heart. Exhale to down dog. And left foot steps forward into your lunge. Turn in your right heel, rise up warrior two. Here's where we're gonna add that twisted triangle. Lengthen the left leg, reach forward, kick back the right hip, triangle pose. Grab a block if you need it. Take that right hand to your block or the ground. Push back a little bit on the left hip. Left fingers come to your hip or the sky. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Again, if this is too intense, come back into your triangle pose. That's totally fine. If you're still twisted, let that left hand come down. Right fingers reach back up. Rise up, sweep the left fingers up and back to dance. Cartwheel your hands down to frame your left foot. Step your right foot up to meet left. Rise up, hands to heart, come into that chair pose. Bring your feet together. We're gonna come into twisted or revolved chair. Woo-woo, everyone loves this one. So I have some cues that I love to give in this one because it's very easy to let the hips come a little out of alignment here. Shoulders shrug back, hugging the legs together, palms press into each other, shoulder blades slide down the back. And you're gonna turn to the right to start and then hinge forward. So you can take that elbow in front of your knee or to the outside of your thigh. Just like when we were in that twisted lunge or revolved lunge, you want your hands to stay at your heart. If they start coming up towards your right shoulder, you'll want to lessen your twist. Also in this chair, like you don't have enough to think about, if you peek down, if you have that left knee popping forward, that means your hips are not square to the front. So you want to lessen your twist, square up the hips, keep lengthening through the spine. And on your next exhale, fold forward. Take a full breath here, letting the spine lengthen out for a moment. We're going to come back into chair because you know we got to do the other side. The poor left side, we always do left side second. Lift your heart and sit your hips back. And that poor left side, everyone always dreads. And as a lefty, I don't think that's always fair. Go ahead and turn it to the left and come forward. Maybe next week we'll start on the left side. So that elbow can come outside of your thigh. Palms stay at your heart. They're moving to the shoulder. Lessen the twist. Take a peek down. Make sure that your hips are square. So make sure that that right knee is not coming forward. Take about one more round of breath. Exhale, fold forward. Take a couple breaths here. And gently roll up. We're going to do a little bit of core work and then we're going to hop into working on side crow. Let's go ahead and have a seat. We have a couple rounds of some core work. We're going to start with, if you have a block, you're going to take it between, where you had some dead bugs, some modified dead bugs, and you're going to take it between your right thigh and your right elbow. Left arm and leg are long. If you don't have a block, that's okay. You can just stay right here. Sometimes I just like to hold that leg. Keep your foot flexed. And we're just going to move the left side. So you're going to take left arm towards your right leg, left leg, and then exhale, lower back down. Inhale to lift up. Exhale to lower. And you're going to press your thigh and your arm into that block. So you're squeezing that block with your thigh and your arm, moving with your breath. And I am timing it. So we've got about 40 more seconds here. Work with your breath. Take your time. Quality over quantity. Relax your jaw. Pretend like you have a ball between your jaw and your chest. You don't want to squeeze it all the way down. So you're creating a nice space there to lengthen out through the spine. And you guys are almost there. You're doing amazing. Keep breathing. Keep going. You've got this. I need about 5 more seconds. Beautiful. Go ahead and release and let's switch sides. Take that block between the right thigh and the right forearm, upper arm. Right arm and leg are long and the clock is starting. Exhale to come up. Inhale to lower. Exhale up. Inhale lower. Keep that space between your chin and your chest. So a lot of times when people are doing core work, they try to use their head to get them moving. And really that just irritates your spine more. So when I'm at the gym and I see people doing crunches and they have their hands behind their head and they're pulling their head up, that's really not doing anything but putting stress on your neck. It's really not working your abs. So if you find yourself pulling your head, try to take your fingertips out to your ears or cross your arms over your chest. Your body may not come up as high, but there's also a lot of really great core work that is not crunches and to build up your core so that you have a stronger core there. You guys have 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead, release, set that block to the side. If you want to give your knees a hug for a breath, we have boat pose next. So a few options here. So in boat pose, you want to keep the spine long like this. Hands can be back behind you slightly by your hips. Heels can be down. You can also lift the legs and lift the arms. but make sure you're keeping that spine long. If you feel your back start to curl, go ahead and lower the legs or the arms. We have a full breath, or full minute starting now. Nice deep breaths, lengthen it out. Feel free to take a little modification and a little support here if you need that. You're gonna breathe really hard, and while we're breathing, I'm gonna tell you, so side crow strengthens your wrist, your arms, your shoulders, your abdominal muscles, and your spine. It stretches your upper back and your groin. It improves flexibility of the spine and the low back. It improves your balance. It tones your side body and obliques. And twisting the torso massages your organs and improves digestion and detoxification. You guys are almost there. Keep breathing, keep going. See, I like to distract you. And you've got about 5, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. Give your knees a hug, curl that back in. Let the low back take a little breather here. Fantastic. So we're going to work on that side crow. And if you're still working on crow pose, you can work on that here. And same as crow pose, weight is in your fingertips, elbows hug in. So your elbows are in line, or they're going to be shoulder width apart and stay in line with the shoulders. You're going to hug them in. And you want to think of lifting up through the belly and through the back, opening up the upper back, and really engaging the legs. So to get into side crow, I like to take a block. This is the way I learned it, and it's very helpful to me. I'm going to take a block, and I'm going to come to the balls of my feet and have my heels on the block. So I have little feet, so this block is just barely working for me. Hands to your heart, and you're going to sit back like you're in chair pose. You want to keep these heels lifted as high as you can. You don't have to have a block. That's just going to help you out here. Then you're going to twist to, I'll twist to my left, since that's what's facing you. And then I'm going to lean down, bringing my hands down to the ground. So this might not be accessible to you, and that's okay. You want to work on that because that's the first step there. Then you're going to lean forward, spread the fingers, weight into your fingertips, and I'm going to hug my right thigh into my left upper arm. Hug the elbows towards each other. Shift your weight forward, and this is a great place to start to feel where you need to be. Weight in the fingertips, again, take it out of the wrist. It's especially hard in that front hand. You may really feel the pressure in your wrists. And then it's all about trust from here. And it's all about tilting your weight forward while lifting the feet. I find lifting my bottom leg is, that it works better for me. So I'm hugging my elbows. I'm going to lift my bottom leg first, and then my top leg. My arms are not in balance here. And then you want to hug your feet towards each other together, spread your toes. Okay, so it's just like leaning over. If you feel more comfortable, you can take a block and put it next to you so your head might fall to that block a little bit for support. So 2 options as well is making a shelf with both elbows. And I'm not sure, I'll try it this way and see if you can see that. It's a little hard to see, but you'll have your thigh on your front arm and your hip on your back arm lightly. And you want as little pressure as you can, so you want to keep lifting up through the belly, arching up through the back, pressing into the fingertips, squeezing the feet together, spreading the toes. And let's try the other side so we get nice and even. And you may notice one side you can do and the other side doesn't feel quite right. And that's okay, that's pretty normal. Our bodies are not totally symmetrical. So we do have some sides that are off, and some days it depends just where your body's at. So you'll come down, maybe have that block underneath you. Take it to the right. Bring the hands down. Weight into your fingertips. Hug the right thigh into the left arm. Hug the elbows in. Shift your weight into tips of your fingers. Lift that bottom leg and then lift that top leg. Hug the feet together. Spread your toes. Think of opening up through the upper back. Lengthening through the spine and the tailbone. Nice deep, deep breaths here. Try not to put all your weight in that shoulder. Keep hugging the elbows in. Pressing up through the mid shoulders. Good. Take a couple breaths. Feel free to come out of it at any time. Nice deep breaths. We're going to go again each side one more time, and I'm going to show you a variation. So you can extend your legs out or kind of make them into almost into kind of the splits or scissored as well. If you're still just working on, you might still be working on getting a feel for that pose, and this might be where you're at today, and this is totally fine. And maybe you're lifting that bottom leg but not the top leg, and that's fine as well. So to come into it again for that extension, always hugging the elbows in, taking the weight into the fingertips, shifting forward, lifting that bottom leg, lift that top leg, straighten your legs out. Maybe take one back, maybe not. And you're going to notice when you may notice when you lengthen the legs out, and especially if you take that top leg and reach it back, like the splits a little bit, you may notice more pressure on that front arm. So try and again lift up through the core. Lift up through your center of gravity to take a little pressure off of that. Make sure you're hugging the elbow in and keeping your weight in your fingertips. If you're still there, let's come on out and we gotta do the other side. So we stay strong and equally twisted, right? So bring it to the other side. Weight into your fingertips. Shifting forward. And this is not always my good side. So lengthen it out, maybe spread it out. Not really happening that often for me today. It is a little more intense with those variations. And next week we'll be working on Fallen Angel, which is a more intense variation that again, you can try it, or if you just want to practice side crow in class or just watch how I get in and out of it as well. Lots of great actions there. Let's come on out, take a couple breaths. We're going to cool it down and stretch it out. You guys have worked really hard today. Wherever you were at in your arm balance practice, I know that you were working really hard, and I appreciate that hard work. We're going to bring it down to our back. So make sure about midway on your mat and gently roll down. You're going to bring your right knee into your chest. Give it a hug and then lift that leg up to the sky. Maybe grabbing your thigh or your calf, but you want to keep your low back and your shoulders on the mat. And if you want, you can draw some little circles with your foot to release the ankle and the shin. And guys, tomorrow's Build Balance Flow class is going to be similar. We're going to work on side crow again, and we'll have some different twists and some different poses in the flow as well, because there's a lot of prep poses that of course I can't get in a full 45 minutes. And take that right ankle, put it in front of your left thigh, come into that figure four, bring your legs into your chest. Try and keep low back and shoulders on the ground, maybe grab for your thigh and just relax your upper body, keeping both feet flexed. Nice reclined pigeon. Take a couple breaths here. Then you're going to let that left foot come back on the ground, arms out by your side. We're going to massage the low back with a little bit of twisting here. So exhale, let the legs fall to the right. Inhale up to center. Exhale to the left. Inhale to center. And keep going here. Imagine that you're massaging that low back. So you want to keep your low back on the ground and you're over to the right side of it. Then it rolls through the middle and then rolls over to the left side. Good. One more time each side. Taking your time here, just a gentle massage. That low back worked really hard today. Come on back up through center. Set that right foot down and bring your left knee in. Give it a nice little hug. Lengthen out the leg. If you want to draw some little circles here, that's great. Relax the shoulders and the hips. And friends, also I have a really cool opportunity coming up on July 30th. I'll be teaching for Yoga Buzz. I'll be live at Earthbound Brewery. Unfortunately, we still can't have gatherings. So they have, it goes through Eventbrite, and you can join through Zoom. I believe it's free, but if you can make it a donation, we always appreciate that. And then afterwards, Earthbound will be talking about their new brew. So you'll have a hour-long class, 6 p.m. with me on the 30th, and then you can learn about the new beer that they're introducing. So go ahead, take that left ankle in front of your thighs. Find that figure 4 and bring the legs in. Find your reclined pigeon. So that should be fun. It's always nice to have a little bit different venue and to learn something new as well. And I'll make sure I have a fun playlist for it. Let's take one more breath here. And release that foot down to the ground. Arms out by your side. As you exhale, let your legs fall over to the left. Inhale back up through center. Exhale to the right. Inhale through center. Just keep moving with your breath here. Again, massaging that lower back. Taking your time. One more time each side. Come back through center. Set that foot down. If you have a block, a blanket, or like a rolled up towel or blanket or pillow, go ahead, lift your hips and put that block underneath your low back. Lift your shoulders, shrug them back and settle in. And you can stay right here in supported bridge, or legs up for a waterfall, or take the legs long. I really like this, especially after I've been working on a lot of twists or side crow. That little bit of pressure from the block helps to release my lower back a little bit more and give it a little extra support. And let's just take a few breaths here. And if this feels super comfortable and you want to stay in this position for your Shavasana, you can. Today I will not be guiding you through Shavasana, so I do suggest in just a moment when I'm done talking to turn off the video so it doesn't flip into another video and interrupt your rest. As you settle into whatever pose feels good today, soften your gaze and close your eyes. Try and focus on your breath and let go of everything else. And I know that can be really hard sometimes, but try to keep, you can acknowledge those thoughts as they come in, but try and keep your focus on your breath, relaxing your body and letting your mind and body rest. It worked very hard today. Thank you guys so much for joining me today and practicing side crow. If you have any questions, need help with anything, please reach out to me. I'm happy to chat with you virtually or, via messaging, whatever. And today, also later on, if you want to catch me live on here in my IG channel, I'm going to be talking about our immune system and healthy guts. So from my heart to yours, friends, peace, love, be kind, be healthy. See you soon.